Go, Gio.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Go, Paul.
Well,
Okay,
The next reading is from The Real Score. Caitlin's friendship with Marcus, the de facto frontman of the world's biggest boy band, Gasoline, has long been an object of scrutiny by almost everyone, their friends and families, the media and his fans, ever since they went public a couple of years back. Who wouldn't be interested? She was a nobody, catapulted into the limelight of his fame when he struck an unusual friendship with her. To both Caitlin and Marcus, what they have is a perfect little thing, but then something comes along and threatens it. In a no-holds-barred interview, will they finally be forced to settle the score?
Oh my God.
Okay, great.
The Real Score.
By Kesh Tanglao.
I am officially 25. Well, I stopped celebrating birthdays after my 18th because I couldn't see any sense in that. Birthdays just remind you of a year that's passed. Another year to assess if you had done it yourself or your parents proud and if you're becoming the person you want to be. I tried to stop counting my age when I turned 20, but it was unavoidable having to fill up forms and everything. But anybody's 25th birthday, ask most people, is a milestone birthday. Marcus is one of those people. To me, today was just one of those Sundays when I didn't work and I just sleep. The person who was banging on my door begged to disagree, so I slowly rolled out of bed, wondering who would bother me at this hour. The clock told me it was almost 7 in the morning. It was too early for anything on a Sunday. I strolled out of my room in my comfy short shorts and a wholly oversized shirt and popped the door open. I stepped back, my jaw dropping and my hand over my heart. He slowly raised his head, his face hidden under his hoodie, and my favorite smile pasted on his face. From behind him, he produced a red velvet cupcake with one lighted candle. Marcus started to sing the happy birthday song ever so slowly, and I still couldn't absorb this. He used his other hand to remove his hoodie, and his smile grew wider as the shock wore off. He ended the song, and tears stung my eyes.
Happy birthday, my sunshine.
He whispered, holding out the cupcake towards me, and I blew out the candle. I wasn't able to stop myself from what I did next. I wrapped my arms around him, hugging him tightly. He was able to save the cupcake from getting squished between us, and I felt him laugh before I heard him.
Oxygen.
He choked. I let him go, and then I shoved him playfully on the shoulder. What in the world are you doing here? I asked, pulling him inside my apartment. Mental calculations told me that he left Australia, where the rest of Gazelle were, at around 10 last night, probably after his concert, to get here. I didn't notice the big bag at his feet, which he scooped up before following me inside my small studio apartment. I tried having roommates before, but they never worked out for me. I like my peace, especially after crazy hours at work. Marcus deposited his bag on the lone couch in my cramped living room, slid the cupcake in the tiny center table, and turned to me. He divested himself out of his jacket, throwing it over his bag.
Well, I don't want my bee to celebrate her birthday alone.
I almost smiled. B for BFF, B for best. He was the first one to use that, and from that moment on, it was our pet name for each other. B also served as our code to keep me hidden from his millions of fans, a signal that when he says something and addresses it to B, it was for me. Had it really been 2 years since we first met? 2 years since we struggled past the getting to know you phase for a couple of months. 2 years that spanned hundreds of hours on Skype and FaceTime, thousands of email exchanges, and one out-of-the-country trip to Japan charged to him. 2 years. I stopped my smile, turning into a pout. Said, I'm not alone. I have friends, lovely ones, and I have a family, I defended. But they just can't be here because they're in the province and my sibs are busy at school. Marcus shrugged, tired of hearing this reason over and over. I rolled my eyes. I just want to sleep, I said, ready to whine when he held up his palm to stop me.
May I just remind you that you're 25, so no more whining, please.
Shut up, I said. And I flopped down the couch next to his bag. He followed my suit, cramming to the tiny space. So why are you here? I pressed. He'd been itching to celebrate my 25th for me, even pitching the idea that we could just fly over to Australia where he could give me a proper celebration. Marcus leaned his head on the headrest and turned to me, a thrifty smile on his face.
I meant it, you know. I just want to be with you on your birthday.
And I appreciate that, but you didn't have to fly here. You should just rest. I know how wild your tour sked can be. He lifted his hand, knocking on my forehead, making me wrinkle my nose.
You're worth losing sleep over, V.
I surveyed him, taking in his handsome face that didn't show how tired he was. His eyes betrayed him. They didn't contain the brightness that they used to when the tour had started a couple of months ago. He gazed back at me, and I relaxed just as he did. How did you get here without sounding off the alarms of your fans and the media?
See, I know people who can tell people to shut up. And you should just see the power of telling fans to keep it a secret first. There's something about being that someone who keeps a pop star secret that's magic.
He said with a wink. I narrowed my eyes at him. Why do I have the feeling that there's something more to you being here? Mark didn't answer, closing his eyes and feigning falling asleep. No amount of shaking him and poking his cheeks could make him spill his secrets, so I stopped and settled next to him. At least stay in the bedroom so you can get real sleep, I whispered, and he shook his head. He opened one eye, reaching out for me, and I moved closer to him, bumping my shoulder against his. Thank you for the surprise, I said, after a couple of beats.
Opie, you haven't seen anything yet. So, I still haven't given you my gift.
I removed one of my sneakers, which are called trainers on his side of the planet, before looking up at Marcus. You mean there's an actual gift flying here and the party isn't the gift? I said, aghast. You're spoiling me far too much, Wines. He placed his hands in his pockets, looking at me sheepishly.
Well, I've got the money to spend, so...
Not an excuse, I replied sharply. Many of us have to work hard to get that kind of money. He winced.
I get that you don't like me spending my money on you, but you have to understand, this is why I work hard for it.
He said patiently.
To make the people I care about happy.
I chucked my shoes and my socks into the corner where he was standing, and he had to step out of the way, shaking his head.
So my gift.
He said, and I raised an eyebrow. We engaged in a stare down with me on the losing end. Okay, I exhaled. Marcus fished an envelope from his back pocket of his jeans, walking over to me. He handed it to me and then stepped back, as if readying himself in the wrath I was about to unleash. I opened the envelope, and there were some papers inside, one with Marcus scrawled. You've always wanted to travel. You're 25 now, almost free of your responsibilities from your family. Fly to London, 2 weeks, on me. I reached inside the envelope, and there was a voucher for a plane ticket inside with my name on it. I took a shaky breath before looking at him. Oh dear, I said, and he gave me a nervous smile.
Well, I want to take you to my home.
I hesitated, not wanting to say no, but scared to say yes. If we do this, it's going to get all too real, I started to say. He raised an eyebrow and questioned.
And right now, this friendship still isn't real. The times we do Skype just to keep you up while you pull overnighters, my drunk calls, the playlists we've swapped because you can never seem to like the bands I liked. The dozens of pizzas I had delivered to fuel you and your team's overtimes. And that one time when I was sick in my home and I was stupidly trying to call you instead of someone who's at the same continent as I am to help me. Are you saying that the hours we spent talking to each other, those don't make this friendship real to you, Caitlin?
I sighed, remembering each and every single moment he mentioned very vividly. Especially when he was calling me when he was sick. Well, I panicked, and I didn't have any contact info for his family and his bandmates. And I had to resort to friggin' Twitter. Tom was online at that time, thank God. It is real, but going there and knowing you more than our usual interaction, I trailed off. Besides, that would mean exposing me to your fans. Right now, I'm just a letter.
To them, you're just B, sure. To me, you're not just that.
Marcus countered. He sat next to me on the couch.
I can't hide you from them forever. You're my best friend, and even the friends I am least close to get a spot in the limelight. I know you don't like that, but I'm proud to have you as a friend, and I want them to see you.
Marcus.
You get me, Caitlin.
Marcus countered.
At the level that my bandmates do, sometimes even better. Please, just come to London. See me in my natural habitat.
I chuckled. Like a zoo animal let loose in the jungle. Marcus grinned.
I hope not. But who knows?
His smile faded, turning serious again. His eyes sparkled as they regarded me with sincerity.
Please, Caitlin. For me?
Some days, I wonder why the "for me" card works. And then I remember I haven't enjoyed this much just talking to someone. Normal guy Marcus makes all the effort worth it because he's so much fun and sweet. I took a deep breath. Fine.
Really?
Yes, really. He pulled me into a tight hug and then launched excitedly about the places we could go, the people he would introduce me to, and so on. I haven't seen him this pumped up about anything. I sighed heavily. London, here we come.
May okay na. May expiration date.